It's time for the Daily Stand Up Podcast presented by Agile Dad with your host, Lee Henson. Without any further ado, let's get started.
It's about that time. I got another email from my dear friend Mike Cohn. So I thought we'd review it and talk about what he's got going on. So in this email, he talks about should a product owner write the backlog? So I thought this would be a good place to start. He says, should a product owner write the product backlog? Absolutely, but not alone and not all of it. Oh boy, here we go. A product owner is generally either the visionary behind a product or a representative of the users and customers. This means that the product owner is perfectly positioned to write the product backlog. I don't, however, think a product backlog should be written entirely by the product owner. Others, such as team members, users, stakeholders, customers, and so on, could be encouraged to contribute their ideas to the product backlog. Let's pause there. So, this might be the first time, the very first time, I am like giddy. I'm so excited. This might be the first time since 2012 that I've ever had anyone confirm that the Po Bafata is a real thing. So I talk often about the Bafata and their role in assisting the product owner to bring a solid product backlog to pass. And I talk about how the product owner should never try to do this alone, that they should have someone that they can lean on. It represents the best interest of the strategic values of the organization. Someone they can lean on that represents the best interest of the consumer. Someone they can lean on that represents the technical values that need to be pressed forward by the team in order to make things successful. So this is the first time I think that I've heard this actually spelled out, right? So the good ideas that they contribute will be prioritized highly by the product owner and eventually be developed. No matter how talented the product owner is, it is unreasonable to expect them to think of everything because they're not in a silo. People representing development, people representing users, and others will bring different perspectives that will lead them to think of backlog items that are beyond what the product owner would have identified. Hallelujah. I think a study cited by Chip and Dan Heath in their book called Switch helps illustrate this. In the study, people associated with the university were asked to brainstorm all the ideas they could for solving the university's chronic parking problem. Researchers eliminated any wacky or impractical options. For example, I would have suggested hiring aliens to use their UFOs to move cars to an off campus parking location, maybe even off planet, right? That's kind of crazy. On average, each study participant identified only 30% of the full sets of class that were generated. In other words, no one person can be expected to come up with more than about 30% of the possible outcomes. The product owner can probably do a little better than 30%. They are, after all, usually the experts on their product. But I think this study supports having anyone willing to contribute to the product backlog. So that can be as simple as a stakeholder emailing an idea to a product owner, or it can happen more formally, where a story writing workshop happens in which the stakeholders, users, team members, product manager, product owners, etc., collaborate to generate product backlog items. It's a good idea, right? In general, the more people who are thinking about a product, the better. But the product owner should definitely write some of the product backlog items when trying to succeed in their agile implementation. Now, here's what I can tell you. Another great article by Mike. I am wholeheartedly 100% on board. And I think the most interesting part about this is, we even had an opportunity to discuss internally, how some of the best techniques were to really understand and get our head around what it actually means to have a product owner in isolation and how that pans out. But the truth is, the Bafata solves much of this problem. It allows people to get the input from all these different areas and allows that input to be applied in such a way that it just makes sense. So, this is a very, very powerful tool, Mike. As always, I appreciate you sending it over. It's good stuff. If you have a topic that you want us to cover on a daily stand up, please feel free to reach out to us. Learn more at agiledad.com. We'd love to hear from you. As always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care.